You know, in the world of big money business, one bad call can cost millions, maybe even billions. But what if you could take some of that guesswork, some of that human error, right out of the picture? Today, we're diving into what happens when artificial intelligence gets its hands on a company's biggest, most important financial decisions.
So let's just cut right to the chase. Can a machine, can an algorithm really make better money decisions than a person who's been doing it for decades? I mean, this question hits at the very heart of how much we trust technology, especially when a whole company's future is hanging in the balance.
To even begin to answer that, we first need to get a handle on the playing field. When we talk about corporate finance, what kind of decisions are we even talking about? Because this isn't just about balancing a budget, it's more like trying to steer a giant cargo ship through a hurricane.
Well, according to a recent study that looked deep into this, it all pretty much boils down to three big choices. First, you've got investment. Which big projects are you going to pour money into? Second is financing. Okay, how are you going to pay for it all? Are you going to take on debt, or are you going to sell off pieces of the company? And third, the dividend decision. How much of the profit do you hand back to the people who own the company, the shareholders?
And believe me, the stakes here are about as high as they get. Getting these decisions wrong isn't just a little oopsie. We're talking about massive financial stress, huge missed opportunities, or even total bankruptcy. A company can completely disappear. This is the problem that researchers are hoping AI can help solve.
So when we throw around this term AI, what do we actually mean? Because it's not some single, all-powerful computer brain from a sci-fi movie. The reality is, well, it's a lot more interesting than that. The study we're digging into today actually broke AI down into 4 different types.
And it's so important to get this right. AI is not a monolith. It's more like a toolkit with a bunch of specialized tools that are each good at different things. So the researchers didn't just ask, hey, does AI work? They asked, which parts of AI work the best for this specific job?
First up, you've got natural language processing, or NLP. This is the part of AI that can understand us, that can understand human language. Just imagine a machine that can read like thousands of financial reports or news articles in just a few seconds to figure out how the market is feeling. That's NLP doing its thing.
Okay, next we have machine learning. This is the brain of the operation, the part that actually learns from experience. You feed it just tons and tons of old financial data, and it starts to see these really complex patterns and make predictions about what's going to happen next, and it just keeps getting smarter and smarter over time.
Then there are expert systems. Now these are really cool. They're designed to basically copy the decision-making of a human expert. They run on a whole database of if-then rules. So you're essentially creating a digital version of a top financial advisor who's got decades of experience under their belt. And finally, there's computer vision. This one is all about giving machines the ability to see. And in finance, that could mean anything from analyzing satellite photos to predict how well crops are going to do, to tracking ships at ports to get a read on the economy. It's all about turning pictures into financial gold.
Okay, so we've got the high-stakes decisions on one side and the 4 types of AI on the other. Now let's see what actually happened when they met in the real world. Our proof comes from this really fascinating study that focused on pharmaceutical companies all the way in Jordan.
So here's the breakdown. The researchers surveyed 148 finance pros, accountants, managers at these major pharmaceutical companies. And their goal was super simple: to find actual, hard evidence of how these 4 kinds of AI are really affecting financial decisions in a super important industry.
And get this, the researchers got responses back from over 81% of the people they sent the survey to. Now, if you know anything about academic research, that's an insanely high number. It means the data we're about to look at is super solid and gives us a really clear picture of what's happening.
All right, so after laying all that groundwork and collecting all this great data, what did the study actually find? Did AI live up to the hype? Time for the big reveal.
The answer was a loud, clear yes. The data showed a definite, positive, and statistically significant impact. Turns out, AI technologies really are helping financial managers make better decisions.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because not all AI is created equal in this fight. The biggest impact, by a decent margin, came from those expert systems, the digital mentors we talked about. This kind of suggests that right now, in the world of corporate finance, a system that bottles up existing human expertise is way more powerful than one that tries to learn everything from scratch. It's about taking the best human logic we have and just scaling it up. So,
What does one specific study in Jordan's pharmaceutical industry mean for, every other business on the planet? Let's zoom out a bit and look at the big lessons here.
The most important takeaway is this. AI isn't here to replace human managers. It's here to supercharge them. It's a tool that can dig through mountains of data to find patterns a human could never spot, freeing up the leaders to focus on making smarter, more strategic calls.
So how can a company actually get started with this? Well, the study lays out a pretty clear 3-step plan. First, you've got to invest in the right technology. Second, you have to train your people so they know how to actually use it. And third, you use that powerful combo to start looking into the future, to make proactive plans instead of just reacting to whatever happens.
Which brings us right back to where we started. We've got strong evidence now that AI can help us make sense of one of the most complicated human things there is, money. So the question isn't really if AI can improve our decisions anymore. The real question is, what's next? What's the next big human decision that it's going to completely transform? And that is a thought worth thinking about.